Lamb was always an Easter favorite when I was growing up. Usually it was a leg of lamb, but it always seemed so special. But a rack of lamb can be even better, and it's so elegant and so much easier to prepare, carve, and serve. Your first step in preparing your rack of lamb is to take it out of the refrigerator and bring it to room temperature, and that'll take about an hour and a half. And then you need to be preparing a rub. I'm preparing a wet rub using rosemary, mint, garlic, herbs of Provence, salt, pepper, Dijon mustard, and olive oil. And I'm just mixing this all together. There are no proportions. It just as much as you need and as much as you think you will need. You're going to need to coat both sides of this lamb, and it needs to sit with the seasoning for at least an hour and a half before it's roasted. So depending on your time schedule, it can also be in the refrigerator overnight. So this beautiful rack of lamb has been Frenched. That means the bones have been exposed and all the gristle and fat has been taken off. And I'm just using a spatula. I'm just spreading our rub on the fat side. And now I'll turn it over. And put the remaining rub on the meaty side. I'm now just adding a final touch, which is just a generous sprinkling of fresh cracked pepper and just kind of pressing it in. Again, flip your meat over. Our lamb is now ready to be cooked and roasted. And just before I sear it on the stovetop, I'm just pressing in a few, not a lot, panko breadcrumbs. So give it a nice little crusty layer. I learned to do a rack of lamb while taking classes from Isabel Alexander, and this is the method that she taught me. We'll sear it on all sides on the stove top before putting it into a preheated 450-degree oven where it will roast for 15 minutes at 450. Then I'll reduce the heat to 300 and finish the cooking for an additional 10 to 15 minutes, depending on whether we're looking for rare or medium rare, or a meat thermometer temperature of 125 for rare, 135 for medium rare. When your lamb is roasted either to medium or to rare, it will need to be removed from the oven and sit covered for 15 minutes before carving. A rack of lamb is such a treat and makes a beautiful presentation. Lamb always reminds me of family holidays, and especially Easter, and still remains a family favorite.